Hello and welcome to Daily Politics, reaching you from Trust TV here in Abuja. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I am Suleiman. The leadership crisis that has engulfed the ruling All Progressives Congress is far from over. And so much can happen in just 1 week in politics. The APC started last week with the news that the governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, will be taken over from Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni as head of Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, CECPC. This was following a meeting of some APC governors with President Buhari shortly before he left for a medical trip in London. At the end of the meeting, Buhari was said to have ordered the replacement of Buni with Bello. At least, this was according to revelations by Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, himself a leading voice in the party. El-Rufai said that the removal of Buni had the blessing of the president and the backing of 19 out of 22 APC governors. More damning still, he said that the Buni leadership had secured a court order barring the APC from conducting any convention in order to perpetuate themselves in power. El-Rufai released all of these on Wednesday. But by Friday, everything changed all over again. Barely 2 days later, that is, it emerged that INEC did not recognize the way and manner in which Buni was replaced. And more than that, INEC did not recognize Bello's leadership of the party. At least, not yet. According to the APC constitution, neither the president nor the APC governors have the power to remove party officials. That power is with the party's National Executive Committee, NEC. Also on Friday, a handover letter appeared in the media, reportedly written by Buni to Bello, handing over the activities of the party to the Niger governor. And by the weekend, several party bigwigs, including the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, traveled to London to meet with the president and chart a way forward. To observers, the leadership problem in the APC is this. They don't want Buni, and yet they can't do without him until at least after the convention. So tonight we're asking, what is the fate of Buni's leadership of the party? How will all of this back and forth affect the party's convention? In fact, will the convention still hold, given a court order against it? With me to discuss these issues are two insiders within the APC. Barrister Sanusi Musa is a politician, a private legal practitioner, and a leading member of the APC. Also with me is Honorable Shehu Atta, who is also an APC member and member governing council of the Federal College of Education, Yola, that is in Adamawa State. Welcome to Daily Politics, gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you once again. But before we jump into the discussion proper, we'll take a minute to go on break. When we return, we'll go straight into it and bring you all the gist and all the insights. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV, and we're discussing the rolling crisis of leadership in the APC with two insiders. So usually he's been on the program before, so we're happy to have you here, and we're happy to have him a second time. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
So this recurring issues in 1 week, so much has happened in the APC in 1 week between last Monday and today. It will appear as if, it's been maybe 1 day. You've had 3 party chairmen, so to speak, within that period. You have Buni 1, you know, and then Bello, and then Bunitu, you know. So what's really going on?
So we thank God everything going on in our party is being addressed, and by the special grace of Almighty God, by the 26th of this month, we are going to have our convention. Like you said, you know, nobody is an island. It's a learning process on a daily basis. So Buni is back in charge of the party, and when he was leaving for his medical treatment, he gave a handover note to the deputy, to the vice, which is Bello. So he's back.
Well, Bello said he never received that letter. And INEC too said that they never received that letter.
So in that case, however it is, we have Buni in charge of the party. He's going to lead us into the convention, and the convention is going to hold on 26th of this month. Whatever internal issues we have has been addressed. The president of the country, who is the leader of this country, who is the leader of the party, is absolutely in charge of the situation, and everything has been resolved. Mimala Buni, His Excellency Mimala, the governor of Yobe State, Mimala Buni is in charge of the party. He's going to lead us into the convention, and by the 26th of March, we're going to have our party convention successfully.
Thank you. So that later, you know, first, it wasn't mentioned in the news. Erufai did not mention it, you know, when he appeared on the TV to say that this is what is going on. And then it came out later. And then the person that the letter was supposed to have been addressed to, the incoming chairman of the party, that is, I mean, caretaker chairman, the governor of Niger State, Sani Bello, he said that he never received that letter. And then INEC too came out to say that they did not receive that letter. They were not copied to that letter. What is the legal basis of that letter as a lawyer?
No, as far as I'm concerned, look, I don't know the law I know as I know it. I don't know that each internal communication within the party must be communicated to INEC. I mean, if today the chairman is going out for something, definitely leadership abhors vacuum. So there must be somebody to act. And I don't think because the chairman is given somebody to act, there is any requirement that such acting he must transmit a letter to INEC. I'm not aware of that. After all, this is a caretaker committee, but by the constitution of the APC, each principal officer has a deputy or assistant as provided by the constitution. And that constitution is in the custody of INEC, and it says when that person is not around, the deputy or the assistant, as the constitution calls it, is going to act in that capacity. So, and as whether...
Are you saying that INEC is being overbearing legally or interfering too deep into the affairs, internal affairs?
Yeah, for it to say that it has not received a letter. But understand the situation. Probably INEC may say that where it received a communication, let's say from the acting chairman or the acting secretary. Now, because maybe in trying to ensure that there are no problem in the party, it may say that it was not aware that the chairman is away, something like that. But I'm sure if the party, let's say, assuming this leadership is leadership that is elected, the attention of the INEC should be drawn to the constitution of the party, which by the provision of section 223 of the constitution is being kept by INEC, that they don't need to send you all those communications. That is my understanding. So this is the way I look at it. And as for the issue of whether His Excellency Governor Bello received it, I mean, these are leaders of the party, and I don't think it's proper for me to come and join issues on. But the most important thing is that this crisis, what has revealed is that to us, is that still the people of this country, their confidence lies with the APC. That is why a small crisis in the APC is seen as a crisis of Nigeria. PDP had its crisis, but nobody cares about it.
Maybe
but
because APC is also governing.
Yes, not only it is governing, because people see it as a party that will continue to govern. Okay. So anything that affects it affects the Nigerian people. This would give us some confidence and happiness that we are going to form another government. And in any way, what is politics without contestation? It's all about contestation. That
is well said, like a party man. But, we're in election year, so we will see what Nigerians will decide in the meantime. But part of the reasons why people were concerned about this was that maybe within the party there was an aborted coup, that there was a coup by some elements of the party to remove Buni in order to have Governor Bello in there. And that coup failed because the extant legislations did not permit it to go ahead. So is that what's going on? Is there that much division in the party that, and President Buhari actually said that these people should stop backstabbing. Is that what's going on?
No, I don't believe there was any coup in the party, I think the only thing that came into the public was that there was a court injunction that was not known to majority of party members that was discovered, stopping us from going ahead to convene our convention by 26th of this month. So when that was discovered, I think a lot of party men were not happy with that incident. But currently, even the issue is over today. There's the news out today that court injunction has been vacated. So the rancor, I think the rancor in the party, within this period that all these shenanigans played out was because of some of this discovery that was made. But absolutely everything is. I'm sure. I'm good that the party is in the right direction to holding our convention, and by 26th of this month, it's sacrosanct. We're going to have it by God's grace. We're confident about that.
Thank you. So, Barrister, let's go to that injunction. The injunction says that the party should not hold its convention at all, indefinitely at all. What does it mean for a court to rule that a political party should not hold its own convention? Does that have a legal basis in the country? Is there any legal basis for that?
No,
and secondly, what about the process of vacating a court order? Most people like myself would not understand what that means.
Well, in the first place, I cannot sit here to serve as an appellate court to the decision of a high court. Whatever it is, an order of court is an order of court until when it is vacated. And I think for me, I had the privilege of not only reading the court order, I have seen the processes filed. I have seen the record of how the thing worked. I think more of the fault is from the lawyers that are sent to represent the APC. With all respect, I think much could have been done to draw the attention to the court to some issues. And after that, they're absent from court when the case was adjourned. Or rather, not their presence and then acceding to an adjournment, which the other lawyers sought who was not in court. I think those are the issues that will really be worrisome to us, and sometimes you wonder how some lawyers carry out their duty. But as for like you said, the implication of a court order is a court order. And
so is this one going to be obeyed?
We are obeying.
Okay.
As at now, aren't we obeying? We are aware of it, but mark you, once we go back to the court and my lord see reason to vacate that order, after all, it's an interim order.
Okay.
It is not a judgment of court. It is an interim order pending determination of the suit.
Okay.
So it is something that can be vacated by the same court. So once that order is vacated, we'll go ahead with our convention.
And this is possible between now and the 26th of December, because he said earlier that definitely you are holding the convention on 26th, right?
No. I don't want to use the word definitely.
Okay.
It's my prayer. I don't want to preempt. I don't know what the court will do, but I pray that the court, the lawyers of the party, will do all what is possible to persuade the court, for the court to see reason to vacate that order from that day. That is our hope. But as at now, because the reason why he will say that, because we have already communicated to INEC that the convention is going to hold on so day. That is without knowing a court order will come. But then, is there a court order today? Yes, there is a court order. Is there a notice to INEC? Yes, there is a notice to INEC. So the two things are there, but we hope, of course, the court order take precedence over our own decision, the party. But I think the party has a robust legal department that will do all what it is possible to persuade the court and see that that order is vacated. And I hope even the person, the gentleman that sued the party, will go and withdraw the suit entirely. That's my hope.
Interesting.
Yes.
But, Honorable Atta, as a journalist, if a lawyer says he doesn't want to be categorical about something, that means something is fishing. You know, that means, so if he's saying that he doesn't want to use the word definite about holding the convention, maybe the rest of us should be worried a little bit. You know, is there anything that you foresee between now and the 26th of March, you know, to say that that's just about 13 days from now, that you think might scuttle the plans to hold the convention on that day?
If you ask me sincerely, I think majority of our party members want this convention to hold. Okay. And we know that after 26th of March, we Muslims are going to be having Ramadan. And we want this convention to hold before Ramadan. So I strongly believe all party stakeholders are putting everything in place. Like my brother said, we have a robust, the only thing that can jeopardize this convention by 26th of this March, by the special grace of Almighty God, is the subsisting court injunction. And I believe we'll have very robust legal team that can vacate that from the court. So definitely, by God's grace, all hands will be on deck. We're going to have our convention by 26th of this month.
But even the planning towards the convention, you know, you have committees, but there is no people, the sales of forms, for example, you know, for various offices that people want to contest in, the people can see much preparations going on at that level, and you have 13 days left. Yeah. How is it possible to organize a national convention when all of these things have not yet been done?
Yeah, if you are conversant with what is happening, yesterday I think I saw His Excellency Governor Ganduje led committee inspecting the Eagle Square. You know, preparation is on ground for us to hold our convention, and still at that, you know, every other arrangement like the zoning arrangement has been unveiled. You know, we know the region that is going to produce, by the information on available to us, we know the region that is going to produce the next party chairman. So arrangement is on. Other committees, members of committees are working. Not everything happening within the party that will be brought to the public. So things are happening that, you know, that within the party that laying the ground for us to have a successful convention by 26th of March.
Thank you. So, Barrister, but it's interesting to be expecting the convention by the 26th of March. But beyond even the court injunction that is bad, what about other internal issues? For example, the 200 and something legal cases that are supposed to be at APC levels, at, you know, at various levels of the APC in the states, you know, one form or another. The fact that you've not had a NEC meeting, you know, between now and that time. Doesn't the NEC, for example, has a role to play in this convention?
look, you see, once you talk of convention, by the constitution of the APC, the National Convention is the highest organ of the party.
Okay.
So once, and there has already been a decision, and by the provision of the APC constitution, NEC normally delegates its powers to National Working Committee. So once the National Working Committee takes decision, even if they are not taken to NEC for ratification, once the convention comes together and take a decision on those, because the National Convention is higher than any other organ of the party. So once they do that, whether there is a NEC meeting or no NEC meeting, convention is going to hold. And once the convention takes place, all members of NEC are also members of the National Convention with other people that are joining. And as for court cases, I think people should understand that part of the tenets of democracy is legal contestation.
Okay.
That is why the courts are there. And people should thank us that what we do is going to court. And it shows that this is a party of civilized people. That when they disagree, they don't resort to violence. They go to an independent arbiter that will give a verdict at the end of the day, say who is right, who is wrong. And so I really don't see, maybe because of my background as a lawyer, I don't see, because people expressing their grievances before a court of law as sort of a problem in democracy. Because it is refusal to give them that avenue to do that will make people to resort to violence. So as far as I'm concerned, and that also politically, it shows that the APC is a beautiful bride that everybody is going after. After our opponents have done their own, how many cases do they have in court? Because people don't have confidence in them. So this is the reality.
That's an intelligent, lawyer's explanation, isn't it? Certainly, and so on. Because courts are there to prevent people from taking laws into their own hands. That's an entirely correct position. But there's another explanation, Honorable. It might be that if you have 200 legal cases, it might be maybe the internal processes, the internal party democratic processes are not working. That's why you have so many people so aggrieved spread across all over the country. It might be that way rather than just the expression of people's rights to seek redress, which is true, but it might also mean that, because if you had a more robust internal democratic processes, the understanding and expectation is that there will be fewer people who are running to court after they have gone through a process, because there will be fewer people who feel cheated, who feel that their rights have been taken away by someone. That's another explanation.
So. This is a democratic process. People are always, everybody have interest. In politics, what drives each and every one of us is interest first. You are interested in becoming the next governor of a state. You are interested in becoming the councillor of a state. If you go into election and you feel that the process was not followed, you have the right to go to court. Like my brother said, that is why like APC is the darling of most Nigerians now. You have the right to go to court. And the Memala Buni-led committee, one of the reasons why they came on board is that they should go and reconcile most of these aggrieving party men. And to be very sincere with you, I think we can score Memala Buni-led committee 98% on that. It cannot be 100%. They've been able to reconcile most of the party men by the committees, by the Abdullah Adamu-led committee, reconciliation committee. They've achieved a lot.
So upon that 90%, and you still have 200 and
you cannot have a
cases.
Perfect system.
Okay.
You can't have a perfect system. Even where there are reconciliation, you still have one or two persons here and there that is not, that will not be in a consonance with what have been agreed on. So it is normal. It is normal to have legal cases, and I believe with the capacity we have within the APC, all these cases will be resolved. 26th of March, we are going to have our convention, and APC is going to give us the next president of the country that will run this country from 20.
I think you're running too far, but we will come to that. We will come to that. But Barrister, you mentioned earlier that the NEC and the NEC delegates its authority to the NWC, the National Working Committee. So does APC, frankly speaking, not legalese, do they have a National Working Committee now? Because some newspapers reported today that you are going to have an interim caretaker chairman and an acting caretaker chairman. Interim caretaker chairman, Buni, acting caretaker chairman, Bello. So how does that work out?
To the best of my knowledge, we have the extraordinary convention and caretaker committee, there is planning committee, which is when the NEC met, and dissolved the National Working Committee, it formed this committee and gave it the power to run the affairs of the party as NEC, as NWC of the party. So, and this by the regulator has been accepted, that is INEC, and the court has even put a stamp to it. And when some people wanted our governor in Ondo to go out to be thrown out.
Has INEC actually accepted it? Because INEC wrote the...
No, if INEC did not accept it, they couldn't have been accepting candidate from us for all the election that has taken place.
You mean the original CEPC?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we have, look, you see, you in the news, the media, are just trying to create problem where there is none. When Governor Bello was asked, he did not say, I am the chairman. He said, I am the acting chairman. That was what he said. So when I said I'm acting, it means there is substantive chairman. And had it been Maimala was around, His Excellency Governor Maimala was around, maybe he was in his house and you see somebody claiming his seat, then you say we have a problem. And I don't think there was any communication from the members of the convention and caretaker committee saying that the Maimala or Senator Akbando, they are not part of them.
But why didn't the INEC raised a very important issue? It said, first of all, that it did not recognize the signatures of Bello.
Yes.
And also that in order to hold a convention, INEC needed to be informed 21 days ahead.
We have that.
So does that mean that they had not yet
No,
been
we have that.
We
have communicated to them that we will do our convention on the 26th of February. And when there was a change of date, there was a communication to them.
At that time, what was said was that
I think
there will be a regional...
No. What before the regional convention is something that came later.
Okay.
But for the main convention, there was a decision that it was to hold on the 26th of February. That has been communicated to INEC.
Okay.
The letter that was written to INEC is on the issue of the NEC meeting. I don't know whether the extent of the powers of INEC to supervise or to monitor meetings, it involves
political parties.
Also attending the meeting of NEC. To my own understanding,
that cannot be.
It cannot be because NEC of a party is a place where sensitive decisions are taken
internally,
purely internally. But if we come to do our convention, this is something that has to be done openly, because at NEC meeting, things that may not be said outside are said there, where we will have our disagreement. So, in the first place, for me, my own little understanding of the law is, I don't think the power of we don't even need to communicate to INEC that we are going to have a national executive committee meeting, because this is purely an internal affair of the party. But I don't think there was any letter telling INEC that we are going to do, because already we have communication with INEC. Because, okay, we say we are going to have convention on the 3rd. And as 3rd is coming, that we see that it is not. what we need to do now is to inform INEC that maybe we are going to have it on the 5th. That cannot be said that by any stretch of imagination that we will have to go back and give a fresh 21 days notice. I think that is trying to interpret the Electoral Act in such a way that it doesn't...
too liberal, too restrictive.
Yes, which is not necessary. Because human inadequacies must be given a chance. That maybe something come up, maybe there is a death, maybe there are some emergencies which make it impossible. That if we are shifting, it's just for us to inform. Because of this, we cannot hold this issue. Let it be let's INEC take note that this thing. And by the way, whether INEC supervise the whatever meeting you have, it does not in any way affect the validity or otherwise.
She didn't disqualify the meeting, right?
Yes, yes, it does not. INEC is at liberty to attend or not to attend. Its refusal to attend will not say that that meeting is otherwise, because that will be making INEC to be too powerful in such a way that it's coming, because the essence of its attending, and that has to do more with the issue of the meeting where you elect leadership of the party, like the National Convention, so that when there is problem, when maybe you have a court cases, INEC as an independent body, court will use its report as to whether there was really the convention, who are the people who were elected, because the two of you may come with a different version. This is an independent body, and it's whichever way it supports, I think that will give more credence to what the court will believe. But INEC meeting is purely an internal affair of a party. For
Thank
me,
you. So I think at this point we will continue on the convention itself, because Honorable Atta said that we're going to have a successful convention.
We're confident
it's not my place to say A or for or against that, but there are issues that also follow the convention. For example, the zoning formula, the issue of different candidates, the issue of endorsement of some candidates and not endorsement of other candidates. So, but we'll be looking at all of this when we return from break. Thank you for staying with us as we discuss issues around the leadership crisis in the APC as they move on towards their convention in March later this year. Stay with us when we just take a minute of break. When we return, we'll continue with our discussion.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back. This is Daily Politics on Trust TV. If you are just joining us, you can follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course on Twitter as well. We are discussing the leadership crisis in the APC with two insiders. So, Honorable Atta, as we were saying, you know, the choice of who gets what in that convention is not something that itself has been settled, you know, in the sense that you have lots of people have shown interest in various offices. So far, the areas where there have been the most interest is in the chairmanship of the party, substantive chairmanship of the party. But how is this going to play out? You know, because you have two or three things happening here. One, the mode in which the chairmanship, the APC chairman is going to come out. either direct primaries or indirect primaries or consensus. Each of these has potential to create problems, you know, for the party. Second, you also have the idea that the presidency, I mean, the chairmanship has actually been zoned to the North Central. And there are many potential candidates within the North Central. That too is possibility for conflict, you know, at the end of the day. And then finally, you have this idea that a particular candidate has been endorsed by the president. Does the president elect chairman for the party?
Anyway, thank you so much for that question. You know, there's no clear-cut, for now, there's no clear-cut communication from the party leaders that any candidate has been endorsed.
Okay.
The president has not come. In fact, they have even debunked that the president has endorsed anybody for the position of the party chairman. So, like you rightly said,
has the president debunked that himself?
There is news in circulation like that the president had not endorsed anybody. That is the news in circulation. The president has not endorsed anybody for the position of our party chairman. Like you rightly said, we have 3 modes of election. Of who becomes the next party chairman. We have the direct, we have the indirect, and the consensus. I strongly believe that whichever option we opt for eventually, the stakeholders of the parties are going to meet and they're going to agree on which option is going to be best for the party, and that we're going to follow. Whether it's going to be...
And that has not yet been done?
To my knowledge, that has not been done yet. So it's the mode of selecting or electing our next party chairman had not been agreed on. Yet. And I believe before the convention will hold, that will be agreed and all the parties involved will be consented to it.
Thank you. But Barrister Sanusi, what's the legal basis of a president endorsing a candidate? Is that the same thing as imposing a candidate?
No. Is the president not a member of a party?
He has 1 vote.
Thank you. And why will you take away his right to say this is my preference?
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, he's like any other member of the party. More especially, he's the #1 member of the party. Because, mark you, apart from being a member of the party gave him a ticket, and under that ticket, Nigerian people elected him. And now, unlike me, that I have my polling unit as my constituency, the president has the entire country as his constituency.
Absolutely.
So therefore, once the president has every right to say this is my choice, just like me and Shehu have the right to say this is our choice and even disagree with the president. But then at the end of the day, where I think I want to correct Shehu is to say that a mode of who will be our leader has not been agreed. I think there was agreement on that.
Okay.
When the governors met with the president, unanimously they said that they agreed with the president that we are going to have a leadership that will emerge by consensus. That has been, and nobody is disputing that fact. So we now agree that the leadership of the party is going to come out by consensus, which is as provided by our constitution, which also as sanctioned by the recently passed Electoral Act. It also agreed that parties can produce their leadership and candidate through consensus. So there is that agreement, all the position of the leadership.
But doesn't consensus method in this case, particularly when you have many different, after you have zoned the position to a particular region, that has already trimmed the number of possible contests.
Yes.
So isn't talking about consensus yet again, after that point, you know, narrowing too far as to leave you with too many aggrieved
No. You see, let me tell you one thing. You see, there are a lot of dynamics in politics that are taken into consideration. Where are we zoning the issue, in the first place, where are we zoning the chairmanship to the north? Despite the fact that we have a president that is from the north. It's indirectly saying the party agreed that by every likelihood, the presidential candidate of the party is going to come from the south. Okay, when we come to the north, why do we agree that it will come to the north central? because the party has realized that it has a president from the Northwest and it has a president of the Senate from the Northeast. So do you get the point? So if that we could have said, okay, since we agreed it is going to the North, let it be open.
For everyone.
But because in politics, you try to see how to reconcile different interests so that each part of the country, each part will feel a sense of belonging to come together. So that's why we say, okay, let's agree to North Central. When we come to the North Central, of course, a lot of dynamics will be taken into consideration.
And that's precisely my point, Honorable Atta.
Yes.
That when you come to the North Central, you stay there and say, okay, the field is open to everyone from the North Central. You can go ahead and contest.
This is another thing. The same reason that made us to now say that even in the North we have emulated Northeast and Northwest is the same reason that will make us, if we come to the North Central, to come and agree that by rules of elimination, okay, this state, you have this, let us take you away. Maybe you say, this state have this, we take you away. This state have this, we take you away. So that in that way, you will now see that you are reducing the quantas. But that notwithstanding the fact that people will have their own personal opinion as about who will be. For instance, like me now, I think if I'm to go by the dynamics of the politics, I would have preferred for us to have a Christian from the North Central, and I would prefer to have a candidate from a state that does not have a governor. Why? Because I would look at what the trend that has been happening.
Where APC
does not have a governor.
Like Benue State, for example.
I don't want to, because the issue is that, why am I saying this? Is because, look, okay, we have a president from the North, he's a Muslim. We have the president of the Senate from the North, who's a Muslim. Now, okay, when you take the history from the 1991 when we started, each crisis you see in the political party, of the chairmanship of the party, normally start between the governor and the national chairman, where they come from the same state. So in trying to see that, to avoid all this crisis, now you push it to somewhere that this is what. Then if this is my own opinion, that's a personal opinion.
And as a member of the party.
Exactly. But then if you come, you may realize that when the leaders of the party sit and take some dynamics into, they may say that, no, this may not be done because of this. Maybe we want to reinforce our grief of a particular state, despite the fact that we have governor, let's have. Oh no, from the social state that we don't have governor, the people that are showing interest are not the ones that will want us because of this. So we think this is the person that should do it. So these are all issues that maybe the people that are not in politics, some of these things may not really understand them. But it's normal, you know, when people are not being selected.
The next point or question many people would ask is, you know, even if you have I'm not in APC, I'm not in any party, even if you have the zoning, you know, and then after the zoning to North Central, you now endorse one candidate. So the question that applies to the entire zoning formula of the APC, which they are adopting for the first time now, is how would that play out in the presidential primaries, particularly? Because the whole business of the convention is to have a leadership that will lead you towards the election, right?
Yes.
So, and that election includes a presidential election, which is
primary elections.
Which is the most national of all the elections, right? So, how the primaries and then the presidential election later on, primary election proper. So, how would this zoning formula plays out at that level of presidential primaries within the APC?
Okay, from the arrangement on ground, like my brother Sanusi said, is that we already have information that the next party chairman is going to come from the North Central, you know, and we'll have 3 modes of selecting who becomes the next party chairman, we have the indirect, direct, and the consensus. If we are going to follow the consensus mode of electing our next party chairman, I believe with the Electoral Act in play, we should follow the normal way of, having a consensus. All the stakeholders have to agree that this is the person we are. When I talk about the stakeholder, I'm talking about the aspirants too. There should be that agreement.
One of them said in the papers today, that he doesn't accept
that should be that agreement within. Yes. That is the normal procedure for having a consensus. There should be that agreement within the stakeholder. But my own personal opinion is this: if you ask me, my preference should go. Let's leave this contest open. Let's leave it. Let the most popular candidate wins.
Why do you think so?
Like that is democratic.
Okay.
That means you are carrying along. Eventually, it's the party man that is going to choose the next chairman of the party. That is my personal opinion. Let's throw it open. Let that be a contest, and let the most popular person wins. And that should apply to our primary election too. When it's time for us to come, when we are going for our presidential primary election, let's throw it open. Okay. Let the most popular candidate wins.
Shouldn't matter where somebody comes from, or there should be no zoning for the presidential
primary? Already we know that our next president is going to come from the south.
Do we know?
Do you know that? Because that's what I was going to say.
No, we think. There is every likelihood.
There's an information.
Is there a likelihood? Because many issues, maybe likelihood, but every likelihood, because there are many issues that are involved here. First, the APC, they have done their convention. And then they have the chairman from the North Central. But APC, the PDP, they also have not been able to decide where their next president should come from. They have not been able to zone. They even had a meeting in Ghana. They couldn't take that decision, And they are not even a ruling party. The understanding is that that's going to be even more difficult a decision for the ruling party than the party in opposition.
The problem is, that is why I used to tell people, elites are the problem of this country.
Interesting.
Because elites, because of their own personal interests, they can determine the general interests of the people. Look, for me, political parties must know that they are a vehicle for national unity. So, and if they failed in that, then they have no business to come and look to lead people. At my age now, and if I would be privileged, and lucky enough to live as old, to be as old as President Buhari, I have another I have more than 30 years to live in this world. Okay, why? Because of the interests of some few people, jettison the generality of the interests of the country for my well-being in the next 30 years.
Interesting.
We can't. Why? Why? Because maybe somebody at 70, he wants to be president from the north, that would think you would do that. Why a political party? Because by demography, it sees that the number of voters in the north is higher than that of the south. So it wants to create a situation whereby if the ruling party gives a southerner a ticket, it will bring a northerner, so that the bulk of the vote will go and get. So it means what matters to the parties is just to be in power. What of the unity of the country? This will interest not only this. This is something that I expect all Nigerians, in unison to tell all parties that as we are now, we cannot afford parties to divide this country based on regional or any ethnic thing. We should maintain this. North has done 8 years. Then all the parties should go to any region in the south, bring their candidate. After maybe 8 years, because by the time whoever emerges the president, I pray he'll be APC. After 4 years, you want to contest again, let the parties have candidates from the other region. So that by that way, the parties should serve that purpose as vehicle for national unity. But where parties think that what matters to them is only winning the election, being in power, access to privileges of the power, without accepting the attendant responsibilities, then we'll continue to have a problem. Because building unity of this country is better, is higher than any other thing. So I think, I pray, people of my age and my younger brothers will come together to tell all these political parties it's very important that they take the unity of this country as more important than any other thing.
Interesting.
That's the only built a nation.
Very powerful statement. Yeah. But what if, because politics is still a game of what if.
Yes.
You know, so what if in the end the PDP fields a northern candidate? Would you think that the APC will be compelled also to fill a northern candidate?
Like,
or should be compelled to do the
like
same?
My brother, Barrister Sanusi, laid the foundation for this. You know, the essence of participation should be ability to carry everybody along. It is only logical that, okay, the North has done 8 years, we should move to the South as a party, APC, and which I know.
So if that doesn't happen, do you expect a break, a split? You know, something, the PDP, implosion in the PDP? I mean, in the APC, if that doesn't happen?
I strongly believe that that is going to happen. We're going to move our next presidential...
But just if, because it's a possibility, we have to consider it.
But look
Supposing
at it.
it doesn't happen, do you expect, do you foresee that the party will split?
For instance, now,
Yes.
let's look at what is on ground, reality.
Yes.
Okay. How many candidates do you have on ground contesting for the position of the next party chairman? We have His Excellency Senator Tanko Al-Makura from the North Central. We have His Excellency Senator Abdullahi Adamu from North Central. We have Alhaji Lukman Mustafa from Kwara State. We have the other candidate from Niger State. You know, most of the candidates we have presented is from the North Central and the North. I've not seen anybody from the South. Barrister.
But what if, because it's a game of the possible, Barrister. What if, in the end,
look,
you don't have...
What I know is...
That's probably our final...
What I know is it will be difficult to defeat APC in the 2023 presidential election.
Absolutely.
Regardless of its candidate.
Yes. And APC as at now has shown, unlike the others, that their own aim is just to capture power. The unity of this country is very important to us. And we will continue to promote that. And that is the reason why Nigerians will trust us again, because we'll present a candidate that will promote unity of the country, not use any other thing. That is how I'm...
An interesting political answer. And
yes.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Honorable Atta. It's been nice having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
It's been nice having you once again,
Barrister
Sanusi. And thank you, our viewers, for staying with us. It is because of you that we strive to come here every evening to bring you analysis and discussions of politics as they happen. Thank you, and we hope that you'll be here with us again tomorrow, and we'll bring you another edition of Daily Politics on Trust TV. My name is Suleiman Suleiman. Good night.